Okay, so we're going to officially be starting. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here. Please, if I could get the next slide, if that's okay. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here at a Juice Career Education, Juice Career Education, Juvenile Career Education event, Juice event. Today we're going to be having a career spotlight, and what that means is that we're going to be having a look into the careers or the profession or the job of one or the job of one of our Juice mentors slash Juice members. So today we will be exploring animation, right? What it takes to get into animation. Sorry, could we go to the agenda slide for now? So yeah, what it takes to get into animation and what that involves. So on our agenda for today, we have first of all recognition of participants and guests. So I don't know if we have any children on the call with us today who might be joining us for the call today. Is there anyone? If you're in your session, or if you're where you are with a child, please just indicate. You can unmute and let us know, or you can drop it in the chat. Okay. Okay. So I assume that there is no child on the call today. Oh, when I say child, there is no secondary school participants on the call today. But what that means is then that, of course, these sessions are recorded and then they'll be shared to the schools later. So yeah, and then we're going to have a quick introduction of the event, why we're here and why we do what we do. And then after that, we're going to have our keynote speaker, Somto, speak about his journey into animation, how he got into animation, and how participating secondary schools can also, or how participating secondary school children can also get into this, I guess I'll call it a career or course. But anyway, Somto will talk you through that. Then we're going to have a Q&A as always, and then we're going to highlight our upcoming event, and we're going to have our closing remarks. As always, it's mostly an interactive session. At least the when I'm speaking, Somto will decide how he wants to run his, but it's mostly an interactive session. So feel free to keep dropping your comments in the chat, dropping your thoughts in the chat as we go along. Next slide, please. Yeah, so we've done the recognition of students. There are no students with us today, but like I said, there will be students who potentially then will be listening to the recording later. So why are we here? Why is Juice important? Why is this important? And I feel the need to say this, especially because, sometimes on the calls, there might not be students on the call. So you might think, what's really the point of this? It's important because we want to be able to support secondary school children, or in general, just the Nigerian child, to make career decisions, right? One of the most important questions a Nigerian child is asked is, what do you want to be when you grow up? And oftentimes there's not a lot of support, there's not a lot of guidance, there's not a lot of insight, into making these decisions or into supporting them. Many times the decision is made based on, oh, you're not good at XYZ subject, so you should do this, or maybe what your parents want you to do, or sometimes just what you've heard and seen, and you think, oh, this will bring some money, and the average Nigerian child then stumbles into some professions. At Juice Africa, we want to limit the stumbling, and we want careers to be intentionally thought through and developed. So we offer career spotlights like we'll be doing today. So Somto will be speaking about his journey into animation. So career spotlights to showcase a range of careers and courses and professions that the Nigerian child can explore and take up. Its relevance in the world today, but also its relevance for the future. And then, of course, we offer internships. Our aim is to be able to, connect young children with internship opportunities. So if you think, for example, you're interested in animation after listening to today, we want to be able to partner with companies, with institutions to offer internships to secondary school children. we want to also have career fairs. So, just almost like an open day. But in this career fair, the Nigerian child is able to just, walk around, ask questions, interact with as many professionals as possible. All of this is to aid them to make better career decisions. We have mentor-mentee one-on-ones, and this is why we really advocate as much as possible to have kids on these calls, because we can offer them the support that they need by attending these calls. So mentor mentee one-on-ones and uni preparation programs, this is really important. I think the again, on average, the Nigerian child stumbles into uni courses. Oh, I did not get the score like school. I need in jam, this is what I can do, or this is the course I've been given, all of that. We want to be able to connect the Nigerian teenager, the Nigerian secondary school child with global opportunities that they can explore. And this doesn't start when you're in SS3. This doesn't start when you in fact, it starts, years before. I often talk about, and I'm taking a bit of time to talk about this today because of, again, I want to reiterate the importance of what we do. I often talk about our counterparts in many of the Asian countries like India and China, and about how, they traditionally get access to many of these global opportunities. But it doesn't happen because, oh, they're so smart. Oh, they're so, they're so good at XYZ thing. It happens because there is a culture of preparation from a very young age to get them into these opportunities. Juice wants to be able to give access to the average Nigerian child into these opportunities. So it shouldn't just be for the wealthy or for those whose parents or siblings, or for any reason, those who have that exposure. We want to be able to bring that exposure to as many children as possible, and to be able to, get them to harness that opportunity. Next slide, please. So yeah, so that's what Juice is about. Our mission is to see a Nigeria where the careers of our kids are intentionally thought through, intentionally developed, and intentionally chosen. So we don't want kids stumbling. Oh, okay, I'll do this one now. Let's see how it works out. I'm not really sure, but let me see. We want a situation where children have the exposure, the insight, and the guidance that they need to explore the profession and to grow in those professions, right? Of course, there can be mobility and there can be, evolution in your professional life, but let it be from a perspective of being informed and not from a perspective of, oh yeah, this one did not work, let me try this. So that one did not work, let me try the other one. So yeah. So how you can get involved with what we do at Juice, attending these meetings are very important. At some point I thought these meetings were important for secondary school children or for and their parents, but increasingly what we find is that many of us are in a position where we're able to interact and network with these kids, and it's important that we equip ourselves even with the tools to be able to, to speak to them, to support them, and to channel them to the right direction if necessary. So please keep attending the meeting, but more than attending, please try to network the importance of what we do at Juice, or socialize rather, network and socialize the importance of what we do at Juice to, a young child around you, a teenager trying to find their way, secondary school kids, educators, teachers, parents. Try to get the importance and the message of Juice across to them. Yeah, connect with our social media and our content. Just by you liking a post or you sharing a post on your story, we're able to reach another person, and that person potentially could be someone who needs what we do at Juice. So please connect with our social media. You'll see the link for each of our socials: LinkedIn, X/Twitter, IG, and Facebook at the end of the slide, not today, but at the end. Say, yeah, become a member of Juice, become a sponsor, become a mentor, right? So Somto is a mentor at Juice, and that's why he's a member and a mentor at Juice, and that's why he's presenting this today. So become a member, showcase your career, share your career to a secondary school child. Become a sponsor, and becoming a sponsor means you have a business, you have a business or some money that you want to put towards this cause, because what we do is expensive to do, and we hope that we can partner with passionate Nigerians to get Juice into the hands and into the minds of every young child, not just those who are privileged, but every child who potentially can benefit from it. Become a career partner, and what that means is, if you have a business, a company, and all of that, you can partner with us to be able to bring juice children for internships, right? So if, for example, you're a lawyer, you have a law firm, you can partner with us to give a juice child 1 or 2 weeks internships, a 2-week internships into the legal profession. What this does for a child is invaluable, right? I often share the story about growing up and going to court and just sitting and listening to proceedings. What this does in shaping the minds of young people, helping them to explore, explore their career and their profession. It's invaluable, and we really want to be able to do this increasingly. So if you have a business and a company, please partner with us. We think it will be amazing. Tell other people about juice, right? I've spoken about this at the beginning. Tell other people about juice. Tell young people about juice. Tell parents about juice. Tell educators about juice. I think that would be incredible. So yeah, so in light of telling other people about juice, we have Nkem Jika. And Nkem, hi Nkem. I see that you're around. We cannot hear you, you're muted, but I see that you're around with some kids, and that makes me so incredibly happy. Somto, what you'll be speaking directly to young people today. So as I always say, please make sure to keep it simple, make sure to keep it exciting, and make sure to keep it relevant. Hi kids, and welcome to Juice Africa. Feel free to, well, not feel free, please make sure you listen attentively. Make sure to listen to what we're saying. Make sure to listen to what Somto is saying. And if what he says interests you, if what he's saying is something you're like, oh, okay, I relate to this, or I would like to do this, then please connect, speak to Nkem Jika. In fact, first of all, ask your questions, make your comments, ask your questions. So you need to listen attentively, obviously, to ask the questions, but ask your questions. And then if you need to connect further with Somto as a mentor, if you need support, if this is something you think you want to do, Juice Africa can give you that. Okay, so I'm going to unmute I'm going to let you speak for a bit and introduce the kids, if that's okay. Then we would continue. Thank you.
Hi everyone. I don't know if I can be heard. Can I be heard?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. So let me shift into morning everyone. My name is Nkem Jikede. Sorry. Just give me 1 second. I'm trying to put final touches to this. My name is Nkem Jikede. I'm a lawyer by profession, but I am also passionate about education. I am passionate about lifestyle. And with me here are some children that are living around the premises of the venue of where we're having this participation center in Enugu State. I practice and work in Enugu State, and we are the Center for Memories, an NGO that has graciously, agreed to partner with Juice in order to ensure that, they bring Juice's activities to the children who also are part of, the center, they progress the center. We're in the library that is at the Center for Memories, specifically called Children's Library, and here is where some children come around to, sharpen their minds and also explore, their minds. So they are from various secondary schools. I don't know if there will be time for them to introduce every one of them and that.
Well, there's no time for that, but yeah, it's okay. They can just wave and say hello. Just yeah.
Okay, say hello to. So okay, I think that should be that, right?
Yes. So thank you so much, Nkem. And hi students, welcome. It's really, really nice to have you. So like I said before, please listen attentively. And one more thing I would say with regard to how to come in, right? When I spoke about being a sponsor, what Nkem Jika does, for example, is what he's done is to partner with an NGO where we can, then bring Juicy's activities to children around that community. This costs money. This costs, basically costs money to be able to arrange this. So we really hope that we can get opportunities to partner with people who can continue to make this possible. Nkem is in Enugu specifically, I think independent layout, like he mentioned to me before. But we want to be able to have juice centers, right? Juice viewing centers in every state in Nigeria. So what this means is children who are on holiday or children who are day students or not in boarding house can easily just show up to the center, watch, listen to what our mentors have to say, participate in our activities, and hopefully be impacted by what we do, right? So this is the first one officially kicking off in Enugu. And just to share, we have one that hopefully should kick up in Plateau State in a few months or weeks time. So we're really excited to have you here, kids, and welcome. Without further ado, I'm going to speak very briefly about our keynote speaker, who is Somto Onubuogu. Somto Onubuogu is a seasoned animator slash designer. And I purposely normally I would ask I would ask our speakers to share with me maybe their write-up, a small bio, about themselves. But I haven't done that with Somto because, well, number one, like I said on one of the posts we used to advertise this, Somto designed our logo. So if you look at the logo for Juice Africa, you see this U-shaped
I
this
don't know if you
U-shaped.
can hear me, but we seem to have a problem with the audio. We can't say what is happening. So I don't
Oh,
know.
we can can other people hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Nkemjika, can you hear me? Do you need me to speak it? Excuse me, is it a matter of me speaking louder or okay, can you hear me? No?
Ada, I can't hear you. I can't get any audio feedback here. So I don't know.
Can you hear me? I'm speaking now. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Okay, because I paused for a bit. So if you can hear me now, that's wonderful. So okay, wonderful. So like I said, Somto designed our logo. Um is the amazing designer who put together our logo, our brand voice for Juice Africa. And not to boast and not to brag, but we've gotten a lot of feedback on how just incredibly beautiful the logo is, how incredibly, apt it is for what we do. You see some two scholars, and there's the mentor, up on this side. So I guess this side, speaking to the younger students, on this side. So, that's what we aim to do in Juice, to mentor, to guide, to support you young people. He's responsible for the brand voice of Juice. He's responsible for many of the designs that come out of Juice. And when I say responsible, he mainly oversees it. He gives us templates, he supports, and he's put it together. So, and for me, I don't think there's any bigger advert or any bigger way to showcase him and to introduce him. Of course, he's going to talk about his life and some incredible things he's done and how he's come about this. But I don't think there's a bigger way of introducing Somto other than the fact that he's at home here with us in Juice. So it's amazing to hear. And without further ado, I would like Somto to take over and to speak to us about his journey into animation and VFX design art. So yeah.
Okay, can you guys hear me? I don't know if I'll
Yes, I
be
can
able
hear you.
to both share video and share screen.
But
let
would you like me to
me
share the screen of the presentation? What do you want to do right now?
Okay, you share the screen for the presentation. I'll share video so that people can see me.
Okay.
So let me stop.
Oh, okay. No, so wait a minute. So you can share the screen and I spotlight you so people are able to see you, right? So your video is not on, by the way. So if you start your video, I can spotlight you. Okay, wonderful. And you can share the screen.
I'm still sharing, so that's the...
Yeah, but you're sharing your screen. You can share the presentation. Okay. I'm hoping that maybe the kids...
Can you still see me?
Your video has gone off, but we can see the presentation. I was hoping that maybe the kids with Nkemjika can return because I think they had to leave for a minute because they couldn't hear. Okay, they're back. So, okay. So without further ado, you can start, please. Can you put on your video if that's okay to ask as well?
I think because of the device I'm using.
Okay. No worries then. That works. Okay. We're good to go.
All right. So, hello everyone. My name, as Ada mentioned, my name is Somto Onubuogu. I'm an animator. In fact, wait, let me do this face to face. Then then I'll let you guys see the slide. So can everyone see me? Can you guys see me?
Yes, we can. I can.
Okay. So hi everyone. My name is Somto Onubuogu. I'm an animator and visual effects artist, and I'll pretty much today be going into what all of that means, how I got into it. I've currently been doing this for, I think, since 2017, but there's a whole long story leading up to that, and that is what I'm going to delve into today. So, without further ado, I just wanted to make sure you guys see my face and be sure that I'm a real human being. Then now let's get into the presentation. As we go along, if anyone has any questions, if there's anything that I'm mentioning that is a bit confusing, you can maybe drop it in the comments. Then I think Ada, you can just help me take note of them. So by the end of the session, you guys can we can take the questions. So okay. Okay, so one question that I think some of us might be asking is, what is animation? And in fact, a lot of our encounters with animation, or my first encounter with animation, was through cartoons. Growing up watching Scooby-Doo, Tom and Jerry, different cartoons do that, Voltron, and Dodo, the kid from outer space. Some of us are good. But growing up watching a lot of cartoons and TV, I got to know what okay, Ada, you want to share? You're going to share.
Yeah, I'm going to share so that your video can show.
Okay.
But yeah, sorry, continue speaking.
Yeah. So the question, or the first question that I think we can go into is, what is animation, aside from just the cartoons and stuff that we see? So animation is according to Wikipedia, animation is a filmmaking technique where still images are manipulated to create moving images. So it is more or less making things. I simplify it to just be making things move. So if I draw a head, to animate it, it is that maybe I want the head to turn. Is that by animating it, I'm moving that one drawing that I had to the other side. That is the simplest. Animation is not hard. Animation is not. Animation is. I mean, sorry. Animation is not hard. It's not too hard, but like with it's something that I became passionate about. There's feedback. I'm hearing myself. So yeah, next slide, please. So how did I get into animation? It all started from how I grew up. But can we have the previous slide? So like I mentioned, I'm a 2D animator and a VFX artist, and this video will demonstrate some of the things that I've done in the past. Like I said in the promo video, some you may have seen. I'm sure majority you may not have seen. But let's play the video. Click play. Ada.
It's playing on my end. Can you see? Is it playing on your end?
Is not, no.
No?
No.
Wait, sorry.
If you share,
okay, let me
share screen or share.
Yeah, let me share everything.
Okay. Yeah. Now we can't hear.
You cannot hear?
No.
Oh, shame. Okay. How do you share with audio? Would you like to share so that you share with audio? Because I'm not. Oh, share sound. Never mind. Yeah, found.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, sorry. Sorry, 1 minute. Let me do this. Stop share.
Yeah, so why you're doing that, majority stuff that you might
I'm
be
sorry, maybe
looking
you
for.
should share because it's not letting me share my
You know,
audio.
just play it. Just let it play even without the audio. Okay, the audio is playing. Okay, so that is a short snippet of stuff that I've done in the past, say 2 to 3 years. I think the most recognizable work I've done was the animated opener to Squatters. That's the one that people seem to know. I didn't even know people watched Squatters that much, but yeah, we did that back in. We've done two versions of it back in 2017 or 2018. Then the most recent one, I think, in 2022. So let's get into my story. How did all this start? Well, growing up, I believe I grew up with a pretty balanced childhood. There was a lot of emphasis on, reading your books and staying ahead in school, become first or second or third. I only became first once in secondary school, and I didn't get the piano that I was promised. It was okay. But yeah, I had like there was emphasis on academics, but we were still allowed to play, like have fun, experience different things. I got into swimming, tennis, chess, Scrabble, different things that would stimulate my mind or my imagination. Of all the things I shall love watching TV and drawing. Like nothing could compare to just sitting down and drawing something from imagination or something that I saw on TV, then now like putting pencil to paper. And we even had like a guest room. For the longest time, our guest room wardrobe, I grew up seeing it as a blackboard. It was only one day that we shifted one of the chairs that I saw a handle, and I realized that it opens and there were old clothes inside. So I grew up with a lot of freedom, surrounded by both art and the sciences. Um, Being allowed to, be myself and also be studious with my academics. That's kind of the background that I was coming from.
So in fact, here's what I said I was even going to do. I'm trying to like find a way to combine arts and medicine and the sciences.
minds that I said I was going to do was that okay, I'll become a doctor. Like in my house, I will have maybe after I go to work as a doctor, when I come back, I will now have like a small studio place where I will continue doing my own drawing. So I'll be able to do the two of them together. So that was the only thing that gave me joy growing up. So next slide. But the thing is, along the way, um, I just kept on drawing. I honestly just kept on drawing. In secondary school, I started making comics. Secondary school, I started making comic books. I started. I would tell my brother or sister to pose for me. I would just have them sit for hours, and I would be drawing them. And that was just and that was just me having fun. It was me like in my own personal time. I would just be drawing. Um, There would be times, yeah, I'll speak. I I decided to pick computer engineering, computer science because it sounded close. I told my parents that I wanted to become a computer, I wanted to go into either advertising or game programming, like computer programming. But a question that they asked that I couldn't answer was what associations or what bodies are there that that's for this thing that you want to do for computer scientists, for advertisers. And back then I didn't know how to do research. I didn't know how to investigate. So I couldn't defend what I wanted to study. So I ended up were they tears? No, they weren't tears. I ended up deciding to go into to study medicine with the caveat that I will have my personal space to continue drawing. But then even the medicine, I wasn't able to get into medicine, but I got microbiology. And it was now while I was in UNN that I got in touch with okay, sorry, can you give me the previous slide? There's something, let me mention the first time I encountered animation. So while the first time I encountered anything that gave me an idea of how animation works or of how to animate. I always just used to see cartoons. I'm like, this is wonderful. Yeah, let me just continue enjoying it. But one day I came across at our neighbor's place, they had like this big library of storybooks, novels, different kind of books. So like after school, I would always go there and just maybe pick a book, famous five, any enlightening book, and just read. But this time I came across The Simpsons book, and at the bottom of it, it had this flip book, this stuff that you're seeing on the screen. It had something like that, where Bart Simpson was running from one end of the screen to one end of the book to the other end of the book, and as you flip through the book quickly like this, you would see the animation play out. So from that day, every single notebook I had, I started doing it at the bottom. I would use stick figures like this and maybe make the characters to like come up slowly, then you now fly and go out of the book, then come out from the other end again. And yeah, I did that to every one of my books. The books that I didn't turn into comic book or drawing pad. So yeah, this was like the first thing that gave me an idea that okay, animation is once form of animation is just doing continuous different drawings that is moving something from one place to another place. And it's not hard and it's fun. It's easy. So, but I was just doing it for play. I didn't really think much of it. Life went on. I also discovered Photoshop, a design software. I just saw it one day on my sister's laptop. I was like, I think I've heard Photoshop somewhere. Let me even just open it. I saw the thing. The whole thing was just confusing me. But I was able to change the, I was able to turn, I put my picture inside, able to turn the picture, the color of my face from normal color to blue. Say thumbs up. I exported it, uploaded it to Facebook. I'm using this thing, Photoshop. But yeah, that was just like fun and games and stuff. I just left it. Then next slide, please. Then when I now got into UNN, the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, yeah, which is and shout out to all the people in Enugu in Independence Layout, the nice side for Enugu. Independence Layout is like the GRA of Enugu. But yeah, so it was in UNN that I got the opportunity to now like purposely build on the things that I was interested in. This was a time where I was now like somewhat independent because there was now no external person to give me instruction or say do this or don't do this and whatnot. So I was relatively free. But in all of that, even with me saying that, okay, I had all these skills and stuff, I was just like normal going to class and learning, even trying to change my department from microbiology to medicine. But I had joined a fellowship, and I accidentally joined the media department in the fellowship because I just saw some people and my friend standing together in one place. I was like, let's be going back to hosting, and I just went to stand with him. Then they now said, oh yeah, all of us, let's go for media meeting. I said, which meeting? But I saw plenty computers. I said, okay, I will follow along. It's computer, I will go. So it was there that they started teaching us graphic design, how to make church posters. We had a media elder, an elder in charge of media at the time that he was studying mass comm, but he too was a great artist. He used to draw, and the posters that he used to design were like the best I had ever seen from anybody in school. So like he put together a couple of weeks of training to train us in how to train graphic design. He broke down how he used to create posters in Photoshop. We cried that we're not understanding. In fact, he even gave us like a portable version of Photoshop that you can just put in your flash and carry it anywhere. And if you plug it on anybody's system, you can open Photoshop. Because that time I no have laptop. I was just a boy passionate about creating things. And I had a flash. So before virus ate the flash, I would go to like some of the guys in the fellowship that were my hostel had laptops. So I'll just go to their like after he would give us an assignment or show us something, I would now go on my own. And that's another key thing. It's not just about learning the thing or going on doing a training. You have to practice what you've learned. And there was no one particularly telling me to do this, but I noticed that because of that continuous practice, I was getting better, like better than a good number of the other people that were doing the training. Plus, we had school to also focus on. So it now became a thing where I was more interested in design and all this other stuff that I was learning from my mentor. And that's also another thing I have to say. It's important to for someone that you look up to that can guide you in all of these learnings and things. So yeah, I became more passionate about design, and it cost me because I ended up having an extra year after school, and not well, and like 2 extra years because I missed something the second time around. But the main thing that held me back was chemistry. For the longest time, chemistry was my nemesis. But funny thing was when I now had the extra year, it made sense. Finally, chemistry finally made sense. So it was just a thing that I needed time to focus on academics if that was what I was doing, which is why it's important to study what you are interested in. At some point, I had lost interest in what I was studying and was focused on what I was passionate about, the thing that was giving me joy, the thing that was that I would wake up happy in the morning about. I wasn't like we had 7 a.m. lectures that were stressing me out. Classes were overcrowded to the point that the door of one of the Abuja building room, what is it again? I forgot. It's just now these days I've forgotten the number of the room, but I got like a cut on my hand trying to also to get seats. That was the last time I did that. But yeah, it now became a thing. What I was passionate about was way more important to me than what I was studying, and it cost me. So if there are any parents on this call, if there are any intending students on this call, I would say study what you're passionate about because school is hard. It's not easy. But if you are studying something that you have genuine interest in, if you are if you can like see how you are going to apply it in the future, that would be something that will spoil you on when things get difficult because they will most likely get difficult. You need to dedicate time to reading, dedicate time to practicing what you are learning, and generally having it make sense to you. For me, design was what made sense to me the most. Chemistry, no, at least not yet. When I had the extra year, it finally made sense. And it was around the time that Ebola came, so I was relating all of that to oh, okay, this is what Nigerians are doing. That's why they do not do us too much. Okay. So next slide, please. So now if you are looking to go into animation, visual effects, or graphic design, I would say some of the skills that I developed that have led me to where I am today. And it's a thing of there are even some skills that are not here and some that you may not even need. I started out learning graphic design, especially the design principles. It's not just about knowing, like putting things, making pretty pictures and stuff. You need to understand the why of it. Understand stuff like balance, what different colors mean, what's the relevance of different shapes. So I started learning all of these things in the process of doing in the process of creating posters and stuff because while I was in school, as a way of supporting myself, I was making posters, I was designing t-shirts. Like that mentor I had, he also used to design t-shirts. So it was a thing of I was learning pretty much everything that he knew. I would spend nights in his house. I would do cutout shapes for the t-shirts that we were designing and just generally stuff like that. So skills that I built along the way, graphic design. I learned illustration. Illustration is sort of like an arm of, it's kind of an arm of graphic design where you are manually making drawings. Your drawing, like maybe something that you drew on paper, you can now like either you scan it, then you now redraw it inside a particular software. And that was where Photoshop came in. You can do it on a laptop, you can do it on a system, you can do it on a tablet. There are different apps that can do that. On my tab, I use this pen and an app called High Paint, and it's free. Or I know that for Mac, people use for iPads, people use Procreate. But High Paint is free, and I think it also works on iPad. And for system, it's Photoshop. There are different softwares, and the main thing is like if you're able to learn one particular software, you are good. So the main thing is knowing how to draw, or if you can't draw, trace. This is one instance where tracing is not so bad. So you can trace a drawing that you made or something that you found that you're referencing. Then, so moving on from, so I was able to learn graphic design and illustration. And with that, I was now able to learn branding. Branding, where I'm able to craft like the identity of a brand company. And you can see that in the form of a logo, the choice of colors, where to place things, the font style, and the brand voice. So all of these things were stuff that stemmed. So all this stuff for branding stemmed from graphic design and illustration. I also learned cinematography, and I also learned cinematography. That's like shooting video. But seeing cinematography is that aside from just shooting video, you understand why you are doing what you are doing. The choice of angles, the colors that you have in frame, balancing lights and dark, all of that is cinematography, not just videography. Videography is pretty much just shooting video, but cinematography now brings lighting and colors into it. So that's like, so I learned that, and so when I'm doing animation and stuff, all those stuff is like somewhere in my head. It will inform because of my knowledge of graphic design and like say cinematography. Now I will know that okay, for this shot, this position that I want this character to be, the character should be at this side. The light should come from here. So shadow will be here, and the color of is sunset. The color for sunset is orange. So the light that is falling on the character should be orange color. So and all these things is because of knowledge of all these other things that I picked up. Then so I use all of that, all of this graphic design, illustration, branding, even photography. I do shoot photos for only friends and family, and all of that played into what I know or what I use for motion graphics and animation. So there's not much motion. If you check it, motion graphics is just moving graphics around, which is pretty much the same thing as animating, but you're not using this time. You're not using characters. You're not like see this purple guy that is typing on the laptop. If I was to I can make an entire film, an entire show based on this character. That would be like an animation. But motion graphics are stuff like all these things that are coming out of his laptop, all these shapes and stuff. They are graphics that we are moving around. Simple. And that's why I say animation is simple. Just move things from point A to point B. Either you're moving the mouse as I'm talking, you're moving the mouse from point A to point B. It's simple, it's not hard. So even while I was in school, so to let you know that no knowledge is a waste. While I was in school with studying microbiology, I learned research methodology and how to do fact finding. The research that I couldn't do to justify why I wanted to do why I wanted to go into advertising or game design and whatnot. I learned it while I was in school. How to sift through different large volumes of information to find what it is that I'm looking for. Back then, we didn't have ChatGPT. We didn't have AI. We would search it on Google. Then whatever Google brings us, we would now like sift through and look for this information that we're looking for. A problem that one major reason why one shouldn't rely 100% on stuff like ChatGPT for like maybe writing or your assignments and stuff is there's not much. There's you can't 100% fact check what the results that you get. because it's sifting through different information from different sources, and even though it might give you like what you are looking for, you still need to frame it in your own voice and be sure that the information is accurate, so that you are not misquoting or you're plagiarizing someone's work or information. But yeah, so I also had to be like a quick learner because I was learning many different skills at different points in time, and not just to learn and learn to apply. Like say maybe by the time I graduated and I was working, a client would call that they need this particular thing, and who am I to say that I don't know it? I know it. But so what I would end up doing is just doing a quick Google search, a deep dive, watching tutorials. See, when I was in school, when I was a young chap, I watched a lot of movies, but I watched more YouTube tutorials than anything. Anytime you see me watching, you see me watching something on my laptop, majority of the time it was a tutorial, because I would see something and like maybe I'll see one design or one animation, like, how did this person do it? Then I'll start first I even have to find out what is the name of the thing that this person did, which is where the research and fact-finding thing came in. But yeah, then because I was in a fellowship and working on the media team, I learned project management and how to collaborate, how to work with other people, because we're doing so many fun things like creating announcement videos, creating promo videos, or create flyers. I remember taking trips from Usuka to Enugu to manually go to printing press to go and print flyers. So one thing I would say is, like, if you are interested in animation, in design, just dive head first. Anything, any aspect of it, especially while you are in school, while you are young, while you're not paying any bills. Learn everything you can learn. Explore everything you can explore. If it is printing on shirts, learn how to do it. If it is creating storybook, learn how to do it. If it is making your own game, I think there are apps now. That people can use and learn to make games. Me, I cannot do it again. I don't do I'm old. Too old for that. Anything programming, I can't do it now. But like now that you're like, for the students here, you're at a time where the world is your oyster. You can do anything so far as you don't exceed your parents' bank accounts. You can do anything. So just any summer school, not lessons. Right? It's not that you're only reading books. Any summer school, enter. Any skills, enter. Because we don't know, especially if it's related to something you're passionate about. Because at JUICE, we don't want to just go in anywhere random. If you see it's something related to something you are passionate about, and your parents can afford it, do it. Convince them. Do your fact finding. Create PowerPoints to convince them. You see, if I had known how to do PowerPoint presentation, I would have convinced my parents to do this for that computer science. Because by the time I was in second year, when they started seeing that I was still like following up with design and so on, and I was getting good. Like, why don't you change your course to computer science? But I was like, no, it's too late for that. I didn't want any like disruption and stuff. And the knowledge I was getting from microbiology was still valuable. It's why I didn't follow people to catch COVID and Ebola and all those things that when they came out. But yeah, next slide.
Slide, please. Okay, so from school, the first job I got was as an art director at a communications agency called Whitechapel and Partners. And I was there for like a year and a half, because immediately after I started this job, once I was done with my last paper after that extra year that I had, once I was done with that last paper, the week before, I had sent in my portfolio and CV. So, and that's another thing. Like when you're in school, especially in uni, anything that you do, document it. Like have a record of it. because that was what I put together, that okay, I was a media coordinator in my fellowship for this amount of years, and these are the things that we did. Show them examples of posters and stuff that, and illustrations that I had made, and they were like, oh, I love it. Once they are done, come straight down. So like, I finished, did my last paper on, okay, I did my last paper, then came back home on a Friday, did like a follow-up interview on a Monday, started working on Tuesday. And I was with them for like a year and a half. So when I was there, that's when all those things, that was the first time I made an animation. Like I was learning it and so watching tutorials, but there was no opportunity yet. But like one time they saw an example that I did, because I was watching one tutorial. In fact, we had seen one video. Then I told my creative director, I can do this. I can do it. I could not at the time. But I said, I can do this. I can. I know how to do it. They said, you can do it. Okay, let's do it for this client. What do you need? I said, I got this. I got this. And I went and did like maybe, I think like a couple of days of watching tutorial. As I was working, I was watching tutorial. My laptop was on my screen. I think that time my screen was backing in, so they don't know. I was watching tutorial and doing the work at the same time. And this is the video. Can you press next? Can the video play? It's short. It's short, but it's a video that's near and dear to my heart because it was like my first official one. So can you play it, please?
1 minute. I always need to, I'm sorry. I always need to
Technology is not our best friend.
Yeah, so we need, okay, can you?
I wanted a home of our own.
Yeah, can you say it? Is the sound playing as well?
My wife and I wanted a home of our own. A home where we could live in comfort and raise our kids in safety. A home we could plan for within our income through a flexible payment plan. Then we came to Lekki Gardens and discovered that our dreams could actually come true. Lekki Gardens planned with us, helping us choose from a variety of luxury homes and showing us how we could make instrumental payments with ease. Today, I sit out here on the lawn watching my kids play football, and my wife, she enjoys all the facilities that make life worth living. Well, I can't blame her. After all, it was all her idea in the first place. Lekki Gardens, luxury you can afford.
Okay, so yeah, like this particular project was like the first one that I was pretty much the point man for. So like I was now working with the copywriter, working with my creative director, working with the studio that was doing the voiceover and stuff. So like it was like all the things that I've been learning, experimenting, doing by chance, watching tutorial, like all those things now finally came into one. So from this point on, they stopped because I was initially even hired as just as an art director to focus on graphic design. But after this, I was like doing motion graphics, animation, and we're mostly doing for like brands like Lekki Gardens, Adrian Homes, Till Day, Jumia, and yeah, so this, it was from this point on that I was pretty much an animator. Like if you watch this, like the animation was pretty simple. It was just moving things around. The characters were not talking. That hand wave at the end was like very, very stiff. But like it was just a thing of do it. However it will turn out, just do it. And like I had the best time working on it. My system then was fast, so it was not hanging. So I enjoyed working on it. If you are going into animation, you need a strong system. So for the parents, I know you are all capable. So after my stint at Whitechapel and Partners, after that year and a half, because I now had to go back to school to clear a couple of things, I couldn't now come back again. So after I cleared the stuff that I needed to clear, I was now looking for work. I was looking for a job, and I was going to different ad agency. I've done this thing for Lekki Gardens. You guys consider me. Some of them were doing Shakara and wow, because like ad agency is fast paced. They don't get time. They don't have time. So like, and they are always getting people, recruiting people and all. So like I applied to a couple of places and I didn't get, or like the offer that I got was not what I wanted. So I decided to because while I was in school, I actually like started my whole comic book company. I kind of started it, but we were only just doing design or flyers, and we're not really doing stuff commercially. But now that I was out of school and like looking for work, people were still like contacting me that, oh, they needed this or they needed that. So like, instead of me to be looking for work, let me just focus on all these people. Found like a small space in our church library, and I was using, like, there was AC, network was going fine there, and people were not making noise. So like for like a couple of months, that was where I was working out of. Then still in church, they had like this business plan training stuff. So I was like, oh, okay, this is an opportunity to like properly structure my business and stuff. So it's just that it was also a competition that at the end of it, I happened to win, to the glory of God. And the money from that, I used it to like properly set up Shocks Media. I got like 2 people who believed in what I was trying to do. So, I wanted to make, at that time, I wanted to make animation and make films that would like touch and affect people in a positive light. Like even while I was in uni, somebody once asked me, what do I want to do when I graduate? I actually told the person that I want to create things that would change the perception of Nigeria, that would change people's minds about Nigeria. And I think little by little, I'm heading there because now, aside from after like so many years of doing client work, commercial stuff for people, we are trying to create our own things. We recently shot a feature-length film that we completed the last batch of editing last year. So fingers crossed, it should come to a screen near you. Then we've made a couple of animated short films. One of them is screening on Amazon Prime. In fact, it's the only Nigerian animation that is on Amazon Prime Video. You can search for Light Strands on Amazon Prime. So far as you are in Africa, you find it. So and now, like today, I should even be on my way to look for collaborators for other animation projects that we have. So next slide, please. So I think from all I've been mentioning, you could see that there is room in the animation industry. Like we have our hands almost everywhere. So as an animator, you can work in a TV station. You see all those coming soon. Up next, the that NTA News Kiniko is an animator that did it. You can be the one that will do it. If you don't like the one that on TV is doing or TVC is doing. In fact, it was because of NTA that some of us learned animation because we don't like what we were seeing. So you can work in a TV station, you can work in the media and communications, you can work on the media and communications team of a tech company, of like a bank, like Piggyverse. Now you see all those videos, that some of those animated videos that Piggyverse put out. It's an animator that did that, or that Paystack also do. Is an animator that does that for Flutterwave. We work in different companies, tech companies or in banks. You can actually go into game development if you actually have like a solid idea for a video game. Like I said, there are so many software and apps that you can do that with now, and some of them are even free. So like I said, anything in this age, that's especially for the young people, anything you can do that is affordable or free, do it, or at least try it to see if it's something that you like. Because I tried learning how to make beats, I don't like them. Then you can be an art director in an advertising agency. Like you can, so art directors, you can end up making TV adverts or coming up with a concept that eventually gets shot on TV. You can work in a film or animation studio like Shocks Media. We're not hiring, but internships, maybe soon. But yeah, you can work in a film or animation studio, and there are a good number of them in Nigeria. You could work in, okay, I've already mentioned in an animation creative studio or communications agency. Next slide. Or you can just decide to, on your own, just be on your own and be making things that you like. You see, you would see people that have their own animated content on different YouTube channels or different Instagram or TikTok. There are people that they've been like, well, I have time and I at least have resources, and I have this thing in my head that I don't want to work for anybody. Like they won't understand me. So like let me focus and do this. And you might not. The good thing is that as an artist, like you can actually afford to be an independent artist or a studio on your own or a freelancer working for different people, especially if you're the kind of person where you don't want to do only one thing. Like you have different interests and you're actually good at many different things. You can decide to just be a freelance artist. It's risky, but you'll enjoy it. So next slide, please. Is there any next slide? Okay. Now, a lot is happening. In recent times, a lot has been happening in Nigerian animation. Like, I'm a part of Animation Nigeria, and that's like a collection of all the animators in Nigeria. See, so this is the union or the group that I should have told my parents that exists. So any of you that your mom and dad has been asking, you see, Animation Nigeria is not recognized, there's nobody. There's Animation Nigeria. Just Google them on just do a Google search, and even on their website you can see a list of the animation studios that we have in Nigeria that you could consider doing internships. And I've already spoken to them about Juice, and they are willing to find ways to partner with Juice Africa for mentorships, career fairs, just let people experience, especially young people. We know that the Nigerian animation industry is small and we are just starting. Where it's just now that we are beginning to blow small, because you see the likes of Iwaju that was produced by Disney and in Nigeria. This is the first time that Disney decided to collaborate and partner and co-produce with an African, a Nigerian studio. So it's not that it's a Disney production. That's why you always see it's a Disney Kugali Studios production, because equal partners on the surface. But so that's happened. Then most recently, Iyanu, I think Iyanu Child of Wonder has been greenlit by Cartoon Network, and that will be coming to our screen soon. If I think they're going to have a session on it at Annecy this year. So other projects like Lady Bucket and the Monthly Mobsters was screened in cinemas, I think like 2021 or 2022. Then there was the My Laika short film that was that really showed what Nigerian 3D animation could be. And there's this resource, this animation in Nigeria book. I think there's a link there. You can maybe later on we can share the link, so that if you want more information on to know the nitty-gritty, the numbers, the studios, what we've done, how Nigeria, the projection of Nigerian animation, even though it was done in I think 2019 or 2018, but the information is still somewhat relevant. So next slide, please. Then the Annecy Festival is like the #1 destination for animation in the entire world, and Nigeria is being ably represented by 5 projects that are pitching for sponsorship, for support, for production partners. So I will also be joining them with my own batch of projects. I won't be on the stage this time. I'll be on the stage like 2022, but this year I'm just going there to like pitch my own projects along with some other people. So the French embassy is fully supporting the Nigerian animation industry because they see the potential, and I guess they want to kind of be right there in the mix for when we eventually blow. So we're hoping that they get that return on their investment. So like, because of things like this, opportunities in the animation sector are popping up, even down to policy, where Animation Nigeria working with different bodies, cultural bodies from Lagos and the federal government, we're trying to work policy that would ensure Nigerian produced or Nigerian themed animations are seen on TV screens, like on DSTV or Netflix and stuff like that. So we're trying to push for policy that will mandate that. So if all of that comes into play, a lot more room will be available for people to join the animation sector. And a question that I know someone might ask, where's AI? In all of this, AI is there, AI is here to stay. But for now, for us, it's mostly a tool. Yeah, you can go to the last slide. It's mostly a tool to help us create beautiful animation, to help us cut down time and cost. Whether or not I particularly am not a huge fan of AI, especially with some unethical. So mostly from the ethics side, I'm not a huge fan of AI, but I know it's a tool when we it will be a very massive, useful tool when we eventually get that sorted. So yes, so I feel like we've overshot the time, and I do apologize if we did. If are there any questions? I couldn't see the chat or the comments and stuff. But yeah, yes, this is question time.
Thank you, Somto, for the presentation. It's like amazing. Me myself, I learned a lot. So thank you for that. Yeah, so if there are any questions, feel free to drop your questions in the chat or just on mute. Okay, I think you're the one with the students there. So if there are any questions, I think there's a question in the chat saying, please, what are easy platforms for animation and showcasing artwork? This is from Pat. So yeah.
So easy platforms for so I'm not sure what you mean by platforms. Do you mean like for creating animation? If it's for creating animation, the first or the most easiest app that comes to mind is Flipperclip. Flipclip. Flipperclip. It has most of it, like it's the most simplified animation tool out there. In fact, even me, I use it when I don't want too much stress. Like it almost has that same vibe as the flip book that I used to do when I was in secondary school. Then for sharing, I think Instagram is still viable. Although these days there's a new app called Kara that a bunch of artists, like international artists, are now migrating to because of the ethical issues surrounding AI. They don't want platforms like Instagram or Facebook to be using their intellectual property, things that they created originally, to train an AI bot, and they will now be collecting money, and me that did the work not be seen. So a lot of people are jumping on Kara. I just opened it to claim my name so that another person will not go and take it. But I still use Instagram for sharing.
Yeah.
If it's for creating, you can use Flipperclip.
Okay, so Kenjika, you can turn on your audio because he says there are some questions, and just in light of what Kenjika being with the children, I know you spoke about your experience starting with you just being interested in drawing, and then you went into microbiology, and you also spoke about how microbiology eventually fed into what you do. I'm curious to know today, right, for a child who is watching today, what what are 3 things you can ask them to start doing? So they've listened to you, they find this interesting, and they potentially want a career in one of the areas. What are 3 top things you would just advise them to do? That's number 1. But number 2, in terms of, let's say their parents are happy. You know, they do their research, they show their parents this video, they show their parents the opportunities you're getting outside of the country. So their parents know this is a viable career plan. What are the courses to study in our Nigerian universities? Do we have that? And if we don't have that, then how can the child start thinking about their career in future with regard to animation, right? So imagine their parents are happy for them to go into animation. So those are the 2 questions. And okay, when he's done answering, please unmute and let your kids take it away. Thank you.
Okay, so for the kids on this call, did you say 2 or 3 things they can start doing now?
It can be 2 or 3, but yeah, just like top 3,
okay.
I guess.
Okay, so the first thing I would say is keep drawing. Whether it's like maybe creating your own comic book series or creating a collection of drawings, just do something that you are to make you continue drawing. And I know that there are some people who might be interested, but they don't know how to draw. The number 2 thing is master how to use a computer, like either a laptop or even a tab, and to use it for say, for instance, design, like to design or draw things on it. So if you have a tablet, the drawing that's or if you have access to a tablet, the drawing that you do on paper, find a way to translate it to drawing it on a tablet. Because now in my day-to-day, we don't animate on paper. Some people still do, but majority of us use tablets or laptops or computers. So master how to use either a tablet for drawing or a computer also for drawing. And so on the computer, learn how to use Photoshop. I think Photoshop or any design app or software, learn how to use it to create characters or drawings. I know it might seem difficult, but it's not really. Like if I had started watching tutorials on how to animate a ball on a tablet back when I was in secondary school, I'll be further along in my animation journey by now. So keep drawing, then learn how to use a device, like a tab. Even if you don't have a tab, maybe a phone, a tab, or a computer, to design, to create, to draw. And if you can even start from now to animate. That app that I mentioned, feedback clip, it was one of the people that told me about the app was a kid that I met once, that his mom told me that they had a summer camp and he used this app. So just find ways to make use of that creativity in your mind. By learning apps and softwares, you are now employing it in the path that is close to what people are doing professionally now. So, but you just do it for fun. It's not be something too serious. Then the second question. What was the second question again?
About careers in courses in animation in Nigerian universities or outside the country.
Okay. So in Nigerian universities, to the best of my knowledge, we do not have an animation course. And the closest courses to animation is visual arts, graphic design, architecture. If I was to advise anyone that maybe you have drawing skills, you are good in technical drawing in school, and I loved technical drawing. I was supposed to be best graduating for technical drawing, but they cheated me. Anyways, so I would say go for architecture, because one, architecture is almost like the one course where they introduce you to 3D software for architecture that will almost ultimately lead you to the 3D software for animation. So you learn how to build stuff with your hands. In fact, you learn from drawing things, then you step up to building things with your hands, then you now step up to doing it on system. Then it's now left to you, because there's no part where they will now say, go to computer animation. It's now left to you with your own interest, take it further and now go into the animation side of it. Because the mentor that I have for animation, he studied architecture and now he's one of the baddest animators in Nigeria. And so there's architecture. For visual arts, you are learning closer to traditional animation, because you are learning the principles of colors, painting, mixing colors, traditional arts. That's kind of like the closest. There's an arm of visual arts that goes digital, but it's not all schools that do that. They kind of like leave it to you to decide how you're going to do your own visual arts. So visual arts is there. Then graphic design. Some schools, especially technical schools like Yaba Tech, they teach graphic design. So yeah, they can do it. Although most of the, like in Unilag and some other schools, it's like with your hands, like tie and dye and textiles that they stick to. But based on your own interest, you can delve into computer graphic design, depending on the school. So I would say, like, do some research. There are a few schools that do graphic design that now people can now go into animation stuff. But like a lot of the people that I know did either architecture or visual arts. Then they now found way to carry all those knowledge, because they understood how to use a computer and use computer for graphic design, or use computer, or how to draw on a computer on a tab. They carried that knowledge and what they were learning from visual arts, combined it together, and they are becoming superstars. Then, but outside of Nigeria, animation is a viable course. There are many schools in there are many schools in the UK. There are many schools in Europe, in America, in Canada, that in India, that they have animation. Like, you have a bachelor in arts for animation, and you can even further to do a master's in animation. So it's when you're even doing a master's, you can choose: do you want to do gaming? Do you want to do traditional? Do you want to do 2D, 3D? Do you want to do VR? Because people do animation for VR, that virtual reality, and augmented reality. So outside of the country, there are many schools and many courses. Like, animation is a course outside of the country.
Right. So thank you for that. So just two things I'm going to say before Nkem takes over. Children, if you're listening, you see that number one, for example, if your parents are happy for you to go in and study arts, that's a direct path, and that's wonderful, But what we also see from Somto's story, or the story of his mentor, is that even when you're doing something else, so for example, your parents insist, do medicine, do this, do that, you can find ways to explore that that thing you're interested in. Somto was doing microbiology, right? And he ended up joining the media team of his church to be able to find his way here. So don't get discouraged if for some reason your parents are not all on board with it, right? That's number one. Number two, you also see that with relation to even whether or not you can afford to go outside the country, or whether you cannot, you see that what matters is you yourself taking it upon yourself that I want to push, right? So if your parents are able to afford it, or you're able to, and this is part of what we aim to do at JUICE, you're able to present yourself in a way that you're able to get scholarships to some of these institutions outside the country. Wonderful. If you're not, Somto did not study outside the country, but he has a very incredible career today. And that shows you that it's not by, oh, I have to go abroad, I have to be outside of the country. he took steps to push himself to be where he is today. So again, don't be discouraged if your parents are not in that position to, or you are not privileged to be in that position to go outside the country. What matters is you pursuing your interest, not giving up. So like he said, there might be costs, right? Maybe your school might suffer a little. Try not to make it suffer, try to balance it, but there will be costs to pay. But if you're passionate about it, when they say when there is a will, there's a way. So you'll find a way to make it work, right? So thank you for that, Somto. Nkemjika, please take it away if that's okay. We'll try to round up in like 10 minutes. So if it's possible, if there are multiple questions, we can take all the questions. Somto, please note them down as you're speaking, and then you can then answer all at the same time, right? Nkemjika, please go ahead.
Okay. Afternoon, everyone. I don't know if I can be heard.
We can hear you.
You can.
So, when we started this thing, I don't know, because I'm having some challenges with setting this up, but I believe in the subsequent sessions it's going to be much more seamless. So, with me here are a number of kids, almost 2,000 kids. Almost 2,000 kids are here, but because I'm having some challenges with the video of this laptop, we can't see them physically, but they've increased significantly from how we started the meeting up to now. So there are about 2,000 kids here, and almost 2,000, not 2,000, but almost. And they are from different secondary schools and at different levels of education, juvenile education in Nigeria. We are from Enugu State here, and we are at the Center for Memories, where those who cannot participate virtually at home or at the comfort of their homes, or welcome, because this is the weekend, they can come here to be able to join us and participate. So I'm going to give the floor to them now, so that whoever has a question to ask can indicate, stand up, introduce him or herself, and then ask the questions. Then I hope we get to take note of their names and the questions they ask. So I don't know how many people need to ask questions, have questions to ask. Just raise up your hand. So, okay, your question has been answered. You have put your hand on one person, two persons, how many other persons? So all of you here understood everything that was said. Okay, your question has been answered, okay? Has your question been answered? So you have a question, you also have a question. You also have a question. You have. So three. Who else? You have a question. So just 3 people. Okay. I think you should stand up and come a little bit closer so that your voice can be captured by the laptop, so that people are able to play. So you say your name, your school, your class, and then possibly your age, and then your question.
My name is Anya Malongazika.
Can she be heard? Sorry.
Yeah, we can hear.
Yes. Hi, Ngozi.
The name of my school is A Secondary School, Independently Alternative. I am in JS2.
Okay.
Okay, my question is that how does animation work?
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to call up the second person now to answer that question. Can you tell us your name, your school, your class, and then your question?
My name is Marcel Tomar Esther. I'm in JS1. I'm schooling at the secondary school. How can animation develop our country?
Nice question. Nice question.
Okay.
My name is Wangele Adonis. Name of my school is the secondary school. I'm in JS1. My question is, what are the careers in animation?
Okay, so I will have the last question coming up.
My name is Alex Jose. I am in Primary 5. Exam does not professor. If you want to be a medical doctor, can you read animation?
So I don't know if you got the question. He's asking if you want to be a medical doctor, can you study animation too? So I guess probably combine both interests. Thank you very much. So I think these are the questions from here. So I hope I can be able to call up my podium so that the questions can be attended to.
Okay. I will start from the last question. I think it was from Jesse that's in primary 5. The funny thing is that I also wanted to do that, but at the time I didn't know how to. It can be hard, but I actually know of someone who is a trained medical doctor that is also a filmmaker and photographer. So if he can do it, then I believe you can. But it's just a thing of, it's going to be a lot more work on you, because one, studying medicine is hard. It's not easy. But if it's something that you are passionate about, you can find a way to balance both interests. Focus on your studies as a doctor. Then in your free time, be drawing, practicing, just enjoying. So be doing animation or learning animation for fun. Then maybe by the time you are done with school, you can now decide, are you going to go fully into animation, or are you going to go into medicine? Or will you even find a way to combine medicine and animation? Because there are actually ways that you can combine them. You can create, we worked with the Deputy Vice Chancellor of UNILAG to create some animations for the CDC West Africa. And funny thing is that my knowledge of microbiology, virology, and bacteriology helped me to understand and even bring to life the things that they were trying to teach, because it was an animation for a training material for doctors and medical staff. So I believe it will be hard. It will be hard, but it's not impossible. But is that one of it has to be what you study. And I don't see, if you are studying animation, I don't think you can do medical doctor by the side. But if you are studying medicine, you can learn animation by the side, because it's not, you don't have to be a certified animator for you to animate. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, so to the next question I have here, what are careers in animation? So yes, there's a whole slide on this. These are, although I focused on different places that you can work as an animator. You can work in a game production studio, people that make games. You can be a person that makes animated films, or work with people that do Nollywood film to put animation inside it. You can work in a bank. You can work in a tech company to create animations for like their announcements or for their adverts, or anything that, if they have any information that they want to put animation inside it, you can work on it as an animator. Or even their apps, like if you open some bank apps, you see there might be some small animation inside it, maybe the logo animated out. It's an animator that did that. You can work in a TV station to create all those, like coming soon, up next, or that animation for the news at 5. You can create that. Or you can work in an advertising agency. All those people that make adverts, you can be part of the team creating animations for them. So even within the animation sector, there are different things you can do. You can be an animator. You can just create drawings that animators will use to create the animation. And you can also supervise a team of animators. Maybe by the time you have gained experience, you can now supervise a team of other people. So those are just some of the careers in animation. There are different titles or roles, like there's animator, there's illustrator, there's storyboard artist, there is visual development artist, which is like, I don't want to say too much that may be confusing, but let's just focus on the places that you can work in. There are different things you can do, different parts of the animation process that you can choose and just focus on and work in. Still work in all these places, but that is the one thing that you're doing. So it could be that when every other person on the team has done their own work, your own is to compile everything together. That could be the one aspect of animation that you can do. It could be the making a storyboard. A storyboard is like just a comic book, almost like a comic book of what the animation will look like from beginning to end. That could be the thing that you focus on. So there are different aspects. You don't have to know every single thing. If you find an aspect that you really, really like, you can just focus on that and still work in all these different places. So I hope that answers that question. Then, my favorite question, how can animation develop our culture? This is one of the main...
Sorry, don't be offended. I think she said, you're actually right in a way, but she said country, not just culture. So probably Nigerian culture and country.
Okay, well. Okay, yeah, okay. So brilliant. This is the one of the major things that animators or Animation Nigeria is focused on. Animation is one of the best and easiest ways to teach cultural values, ethics, practices, showcase Nigerian culture. Animation, because these are targeted, animation is mostly watched by young people. And if we are able to communicate and show, that this is what Nigeria looks like, or this is how we want Nigeria to be. These are the rules and regulations. These are the things that you should follow. We can use animation as a way to teach these things. Take, for example, I don't know if any of you watched Tales by Moonlight growing up. I know a lot of the older ones we did, where it was just story, once upon a time, just telling stories. And these stories had cultural values. They told us of how Nigeria was, and they sprinkled in what Nigeria should be and what we should be in the future. So shaping the development that we want to see. We can use animation, create a story around it. If we want in the year 2030 that Nigeria is the biggest tech country in the world, we can create an animation that if our leaders don't know how, because ideas, God blesses people with so many ideas. It's not just limited to our leaders. So if, per se, our leaders are not seeing what they can do, we can put that in an animation so that a young child that watches it today, it will just be in their brain that, in the year 2030, so this animation showed me that if I do this and do this and do that, then Nigeria can become a tech-powered company. That if I make sure I don't, because in this cartoon that I watched, the main actor, he said that it's not good to be throwing garbage on the roadside. So I'm not going to throw garbage on the roadside. Like that, if 500 or if all of the children in Lagos watch that thing and they agree with the character, we can eliminate littering within a whole generation. That's the power that's the untapped power that animation has to change the country. And that's what a lot of us in the animation industry we are hoping to do for Nigeria. So that's why when you mentioned it, a smile came to my face. So your head is there. So yes, Esther, that was a brilliant question. So to Ngozi's question, how does animation work? So the simplest form of animation is just by creating different drawing. Like if I want to create an animation of this, my hand coming from up to down, I will draw my hand here. Then on another page, I will draw my hand here. On another page, I'll draw my hand here. On another page, I'll draw my hand here, like that, like that, like that. So that when I now press play, what you will see is that's the simplest form. The more complex form is a group of different people coming together to create an animation. One person will create like that comic strip thing that shows what the animation should look like from beginning to end. Another person will now do all those individual drawings. Another person will now do the coloring inside those individual drawings. Another person will now add music to it. If there's punching, person will add that to it. Another person will now, touch it, give it small, a fizzy and stuff. Then another person will now look at it like, okay, it's fine. Then the person will give them the okay, and they will now save it. And this is like a short, a brief version of what the animation process looks like. And so that thing that I said earlier of how you can be an animator and focus on just one thing. So in that entire process, you can focus on maybe just being the person that will draw the comic strip. You can focus on being the person that has good eye that we check for mistakes and stuff and approve. You can be the person that can add sound. Maybe you like music and you're not like me that could not know how to make beats. I don't learn how to make beats, but you learned how to make beats, or you know how to play instruments and you can record and put it inside a video. Or you can even be the person that we pack all this thing, the drawing that all the different people did, the music, and then the final effigy that somebody puts. You can be the one that will compile everything together. In my own line of work, that's the part of animation that I mostly do. So that's a brief way of a brief idea of how animation works. And if you want to get started, and I would say anyone that wants to try or test out animation, just download the Flipper Clip app. On the app, they have like short tutorials that teach you how to animate. Then as you go on, you will find even easier ways to animate that maybe you don't have to draw too much and to just make things where, like I always say, animation is not hard. If anybody ever told you it's hard, it's a lie. It's a lie. Okay. Yeah. So I think with that I think I've answered the questions to the best of my abilities. I hope.
Yeah. No, so thank you so much, Somto. Thank you, Ngozi. Thank you to let me see if I have the names noted. Esther, and the other two kids that asked a question. Thank you so much for your questions. And I hope those answer your questions. Of course, if you have more questions for Somto after this event, feel free to connect with Nkemjika or send us an email. If you know how to send email, send us an email to info@JuiceAfrica, or you can connect with us on our social media. We are here to help you and to guide you, okay? And one thing I'm going to mention, which again is a theme that has been coming up, Somto has spoken about, if you're interested, just download it speaks about the importance of using your phone time wisely. It's not you take your mommy's phone, you're just like pressing, or you take your phone, you're just pressing and doing things that are not helping you, right? Somto has spoken about the importance of, learning a lot of things right now that you have time. Now that you're the minute you're older, once you're out of uni, everybody's looking at you to make money. Right? So now what you need to do is learn a lot. Make sure you use your phone time wisely, your computer time wisely. Or something else he spoke about when he was talking was that growing up, he himself, he was using his sister's laptop. He saw his Photoshop on his sister's laptop. Sometimes you don't need to wait, okay, yeah, but me now, my parents don't have laptop or something. Sometimes you come across laptops, you come across phones, you come across all of these things. Don't just use it and be scrolling on Instagram and be doing things that are not helping you or things that cannot sustain you, right? Download the Flipper app, like he said, and start learning. Go to YouTube, start learning. Just type on Google, what can I use to learn to draw? Start learning. That's the way even by the time you're in university. In fact, if you start learning now, by the time you're in uni, you can even be making money and be earning. And you're still in school, but you're making money. So these are the ways to think about it. So don't wait don't use your time wisely, right? And this applies to even us adults. You know, sometimes it's easy to get carried away just scrolling social media. Let's learn to use our time wisely, right? So Somto has dropped the name of it's Flipper, Flipa, then Clip, CRLIP. So that's that. So we're going to quickly move on. Thank you so much, Somto. So much for a wonderful presentation. Thank you for amazing answers to the questions. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being an amazing JUICE member. Thank you for sharing your journey with these young people. And I'm sure you have inspired someone to, you know, to start drawing and to keep drawing, you know, or to trace or to use the computer, you know, or, you know, you've inspired someone, right? If I knew it was as easy as just keep drawing, I might have tried. But yeah, so thank you so much. So upcoming events, we're going to have our next event is on the 22nd of June. So it's not next week, it's the week after next week, right? And what we're going to be talking about is very exciting. How important is education, formal education, that's going to the university? How important is it? You know, is there a use? You know, if you can learn animation on your own now, the way Somto has navigated, what's the point of going to the university? Or maybe if you want to do music, or you want to be an actress. You know, 2 sessions ago, we had an actress speak to us about how she became an actress. What's the point of going to the university? Is it important? Is it a waste of your time? Is it a waste of your money? You know, or is it still important in the world today, right? We're going to be handling that. We're going to be looking at that. We're going to be looking at that question, right? So please show up to the children who have come today. Next time, bring your friend from secondary school, bring your neighbor, bring someone, and we'll be discussing. We have someone in tech, we have a lawyer, and we have someone in marketing and business development that is going to come and talk to us. So 3 different industries, and they'll tell you, is education necessary? Is it not necessary? Do you need to go to uni? After secondary school, can you just go and start learning your own thing? You know, can you be successful doing that? And what does that look like? Right? So that's what we're going to be talking about. And that's it, you know. So thank you everybody for showing up. Thank you everybody who stayed till the end of the call. Thank you so much to the kids who are here today, or the teenagers or the secondary school students. Thank you for showing up. And I hope that this has helped you. Like I keep saying, JUICE is here to help you. JUICE is here to make sure that this area of navigating your career, finding what you want to do in future, we want to make it easy for you. You know, we don't want you to be saying, I don't know, maybe today to this one. No, maybe tomorrow this one. No, this one, like that, the young man asked today, can he do medicine and animation? JUICE is here to answer these types of questions for you, right? So please keep showing up, keep bringing your friends, your neighbors, even your parents. Encourage your parents to come. If you want to study animation and your parents were telling you before, no, bring them to our JUICE sessions, because maybe your parents will not listen to you, but maybe they can. So we can support you to share with them the ways you can, you know, get into these courses and make sure you're successful in it. Because at the end of the day, your parents want you to be successful, right? So bring your parents along, bring your friends along. And this is our social media. So even if you're on Instagram, on Twitter, or any of these places, go to our social media, follow us, see the things we're posting, go to our YouTube. All of the previous sessions we've had, they're on YouTube. So the talk by an actress, we have it on YouTube. We've had a session by someone talking about how did she get into maritime, which is about the sea. We have that on YouTube. We have a lot of stuff on YouTube for you, right? This happens every 2 weeks. So if even maybe next week, if you miss next week for any reason, go on YouTube and you'll find all of these resources. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. And I'm going to say thank you everybody for showing up. Thank you. And yeah, I'll see you hopefully in 2 weeks' time.